Hi students, welcome to my classes. This semester I will be teaching you a very new topic or very new subject, construction materials and engineering. Last semester you had so many basic engineering subjects like engineering physics, engineering chemistry, engineering maths. This is something that is a core subject, that is construction materials and engineering. As you are a civil engineering diploma students, after the completion of 3 years, you would be able to know what are the construction materials that are used in construction and what is the relevance of that material, how it can be used. So that purpose, this subject is having that much importance. So then one more thing is regarding this is a 6-credit course or subject. If it is a 6-credit means, yes, it contributes well in your CGPA. This is a very interesting subject. I'll be teaching you, it's the time of social distancing. You won't be having any regular classes. So I'll be teaching you online. As I have discussed, there will be assignments, there will be quizzes, interactive quizzes will be conducted. Okay, so I'm going to the topic directly. So the first outcome is explain different types of engineering materials and properties, uses and manufacturing. After completing this or after watching this video, you'll be able to explain what are the engineering materials and its properties, uses and manufacturing. That is actually the course outcome. There will be 6 or 7 outcomes. After studying this course or this subject, you will be attaining that outcome. Okay, that's what course outcome is. You no need to worry about all those things. First, in today's class, we are going to study about a specific learning outcome. In that, we will define the engineering materials, what is the engineering material and what are the classification of that specific engineering material. In that, in this class, we will discuss about stones, what are the characteristics of a good building stone, all those things we will discuss if time permits. First of all, what is an engineering material? As all of you are engineering students, you should be aware of the engineering materials. This is a very updated world. In this world, the materials are changing day by day. Okay, so the material engineering is one of the relevant branch of all engineering. Have you ever heard of some nanomaterials? Recent advances in materials. So many materials are coming. Some nano concretes and all those things. The engineering structures are composed of materials. Not engineering structures. All structures are composed of different types of materials. These materials are known as the engineering materials or building material or materials of construction. Okay, it is necessary for an engineer to become conversant with the properties of such materials. If you are a good engineer, should be more conversant with the properties of such. You have to know what the properties that your material has. Cement materials such as lime, mortar, etc. They are engineering materials. There are so many engineering materials. Okay. So actually, this is 3 types of engineering materials. Actually, this is a classification. If for an exam, what are the different types of engineering materials? If they ask means, cement materials such as lime, cement, mortar is the first classification. Second one is protective materials such as paints, varnishes, plasters. Then solid materials such as stone, bricks, iron, timber, etc. Actually, these are all examples. Actually, it can be that engineering materials can be classified as 3 types. This is very important. Cement materials, protective materials, solid materials. Okay. And that have to study all those examples thoroughly. Right? Okay. So what is an engineering material? Engineering material is an building material or materials of construction. Okay, that you have to answer. If a question asks for a diploma examination, you have to ask in such a way that it is a material that is used for the building construction or the material for construction. Like that you have to answer. Next, classification of stones. The stones are obtained from rocks which are classified in the following three ways. Actually, as all of you know about stones, what is a stone or a rock? A stone is derived from a rock. Okay. The classification of stones can be of three types. That is geological classification, physical classification, and chemical classification. First of all, what is a geological classification? It can be categorized into three types: igneous rocks, sedimentary rocks, metamorphic rocks. In physical classification, stratified rock, unstratified rock, and foliated rock. In chemical, siliceous, argillaceous, calcareous. You have to know, you have to study what are the classifications. This may be asked in your exams, and it can be asked as a 2-mark question also. Okay, or it can be asked as a 6-mark question. In that, first we will discuss about what is geological classification. Okay, in that geological classification, we will concentrate into igneous rocks. Okay, igneous rocks. What is an igneous rocks? See, listen to this figure, or just have a look into this. Some amount of some molten rock is here. Some to the gap of the rock, some fluid materials are coming. It is firing like anything. Something is shown here. So here itself it explains the igneous rocks. This is the igneous rocks. Okay, simply this is the igneous rocks. The inside portion of the Earth's surface has high temperature, so as to cause fusion by heat even at ordinary pressure. At the ordinary pressure also, due to the high pressure, it may fuse. Due to the high pressure and the high temperature inside the Earth's surface, Earth has a crust, mantle, core. There are so many cross sections. So inside the Earth, there will be high pressure and high temperature. Due to that, what happens? It may fuse. The molten or the pasty rocky material is known as magma. You would have studied about magma and lava. Okay, that magma, that pasty rocky material known as magma may ooze out. Okay, this is the oozing part, and this magma occasionally tries to come out to the Earth's surface through cracks or weak portions. If it is a weak portion, it may come out or it may ooze out. That may happen. The rocks which are formed by cooling of magma are known as. This is exposed to the atmospheric conditions. What will happen if it is exposed to the atmospheric condition? Cooling of this magma may take place. The molten magma may ooze out to the surface and some cooling occurs. Okay, actually this is a rocky material. See, a pasty rocky material only oozed out, which is known as magma. It may cools when it is in touch with the atmosphere. The temperature transfer may take place, and it may cool down, which is known as what? Igneous rocks. This is the first geological classification. Okay. Under igneous rocks, there are, with respect to the depth and the time of cooling, they can be categorized as three types: Plutonic rocks, hypabyssal rocks, volcanic rocks. Okay, you have to study all those things in depth. If you are going to YouTube, there are so many videos are available in YouTube. You can type all those things in YouTube and you will get so many videos. Then next one is, I have told you there are three types of rocks. In that, it categorized into three classes. So first of all, I will discuss about Plutonic rocks. What is a Plutonic rocks? Such rocks are formed due to cooling of magma at a considerable depth from its surface. Considerable depth, or it is having a long depth, okay, from the Earth's surface. Some of the rocks are formed due to the cooling of magma. Magma is having a high temperature. Due to that cooling of magma, there will be some rocks, okay, are formed at a considerable depth, which is known as Plutonic rock. Not at the Earth's surface, which is formed at the considerable depth or having a higher depth, okay, a deep depth you can say. The cooling is slow. The cooling will be very slow. It may take some time. And rock possesses coarsely grained crystalline structure. It is having a coarsely grained crystal. What is a coarsely grained crystalline structure? Crystalline means it will be of crystals, granular. Okay, so it's very small particles will be there. They will be binded by some binding agents. They will be coarsely grained means the grain will be having very large sizes. Okay, grain means the smaller particles. The igneous rocks commonly used in building industry are of plutonic types. If you are I told you it's coarsely grained means the size will be high. So igneous rocks commonly used in building industry are of plutonic type. The granite is the leading example of igneous rock. It's also a plutonic rock. Okay, igneous rock is a plutonic rock. It is also an igneous rock. Okay. Next, in this Plutonic rocks, granite is a type of plutonic rock, that is an igneous rock. This is shown in figure. That is, we have already discussed about all those things. Next comes the hypabyssal rocks. Such rocks are formed due to cooling of magma at a relatively shallow depth from the earth's surface. From the earth's surface, those rocks that are formed from shallow depth, okay, that is, there will be some meters. It is not specified anywhere here. The cooling is very quick also. Okay. Actually we discussed about what previous to this hypabyssal rocks. We discussed about the plutonic rock. They are considerable depth. In hypabyssal rocks, the cooling of magma is at relatively shallow. Shallow means very small depth from their surface. Okay, the cooling is, what happens to that plutonic rocks? Cooling. What about the cooling? The cooling is very slow. In hypabyssal rocks, what happens? Cooling is quick. What is it? Cooling is quick. And hence these rocks possess finely grained crystalline structure. The one thing you have to note here is that when the cooling is quick or fast or swift, what happens? It becomes more fine. Okay. If the cooling is slow, means it becomes coarse. Coarse means what? Coarse means bigger. Fine means very small. Okay, small grained crystalline rocks are formed. Dolerite is a example of this type of rocks. Actually, these types of rocks are formed due to cooling of magma at a relatively shallow depth from Earth's surface. They are actually known as hypabyssal rocks. Okay. Next is under igneous rocks, volcanic rocks. What is a volcanic eruption? You would have known about it. You would have heard about this. When the magma oozes out and it forms a volcano. Okay. There are so many active volcanoes in the world, such as Fujiyama in Japan, Mount Vesuvius, and also although so many names you would have, if you are searching in the net, you will get so many names. If the magma comes out of the earth, it is known as lava. Okay, you would have studied in lower 9th standard geography. You would have studied about that. These sort of rocks are formed at the earth's surface. Okay, they are formed during pouring the magma at the earth's surface. This is not a considerable depth or shallow depth. This is on the surface of the earth itself. Okay. The cooling is very rapid also. What happens if the cooling become more fast or more swift? What happens to the structure? It became more finer. Again, extremely fine grained structure is obtained. Basalt is an example of this type of rock. These are all the things that you have to study. Most probably the basalt is used in, where it is used in railway tracks and all. For the ballast, we are using this basalt. Next is geological classification. Next is sedimentary rocks. Under igneous rocks, we have studied about 3 types. This is sedimentary rocks. as the name suggests, but sedimentary. Sediment. Type in Google and see what is a sediment. Actually, it's a deposition. It is formed by the deposition of products of weathering on the pre-existing rocks. You would have studied about weathering. Actually, what is weathering? Those of you who don't know about weathering have given the definition. Weathering is the breakdown of rocks and minerals through contact with the Earth's atmosphere, water, and biological organisms. Okay, actually, it's a breakdown. After the breakdown, what happens? Some agents, they may transfer these products. It can be, the medium of transfer can be frost or rain or wind or flowing water. After the weathering, okay, actually it's an attack. Okay, weathering is actually an attack on the rock. Frost, rain, wind, flowing water. The products may travel from one place to another. Okay, maybe it deposited on another rock, a pre-existing rock. Okay, deposition of products of weathering on the pre-existing rock. Okay, all the products of weathering are ultimately carried away from their place origin by the agents of transport. There may be some agent may transport this weathering products. Okay, it may be some small rocky materials. Okay, due to some frost or rain or natural anything can happen. Okay, some flowing water, some river water. Okay, some formations. We would have already studied, I think, in the 9th standard geography about these rocks and all. So, this sort of, that is called sediments. Actually, the deposition is a sedimentation. Okay, you would have studied sedimentation. This is known as sedimentary rocks. This is formed with the deposition of products of weathering on the pre-existing rocks. Already existing rock is there means something accumulates. Okay, how it accumulates? It accumulates through weathering. Weathering means transportation through actually the breaking down the rocks and transporting through some other mediums. Actually, is the breaking down of rock, soils and minerals plus the transportation also can be added. That is frost, rain, wind and flowing water. So this is known as sedimentary rock. Simply you memorize, you see what is sedimentary means accumulation. You study like this. Okay. The following are 4 types of deposit occurs: residual deposit, sedimentary deposit, chemical deposit, organic deposit. Under the sedimentary rocks, there are 4 types of deposits. That is, see what is a residual deposit? Some portion of products of weathering remain at the site of origin. Okay. See, if there is a lab class or some seminar class is going, see, you assume a seminar class is going on at the seminar hall. Okay. Out of, if I say, out of 60 students, all of you, everybody has to go at 9 o'clock. The seminar may commence at 9:10, means most students, only 30 or 20 students may go. That's 40 students, they won't obey me. Okay, they won't come in time. Okay, so there will be some residues. Okay, residue. There will be some person or some portion of products of weathering. They remain at the site of origin. They won't go anywhere. They may remain there itself. They are known as residual deposits. If you are considering in the rocks, they are known as the residual deposits. Next, sedimentary deposits. The insoluble products of weathering. What is insoluble? That is, it is not a soluble thing. Okay, the insoluble products of weathering are carried away in suspension, and when such products are deposited, you know, some of the insoluble products, okay, if products of weathering are carried away in suspension means there will be some water. If you are adding some wooden materials or something, which some bigger materials, okay, in water, if you are adding a bigger clayly means rocky particles, means that is a suspension. Okay, if it is very small, means it may become a colloid. Okay, that is a colloidal suspension. You would have studied in chemistry what's a suspension. The insoluble products, it won't what is the suspension means? Actually the solids, they were soluble. Okay, they are insoluble products of weathering are carried away in suspension. And when such products are deposited, if such products are deposited, they are known as sedimentary deposits. some insoluble products. They'll be in suspension form. When such products are deposited, they are known as sedimentary deposit. Okay. These are different types of deposits. Then comes chemical deposits. Some material that is carried away in solution may be deposited by some physical or chemical, physico-chemical process. That means physical plus chemical process, such as evaporation, precipitation. Okay, there will be some material. As I told you, there will be some weathering, some agents. That can be frost, that can be wind, or that can be some water. Okay, if watering agents, water. If some sort of things evaporates, okay, and it is deposited in some other place or exists in some other rocks or some other places. Okay, so evaporation and it precipitates like a rain or whatever form it may become a snow. Okay, whatever it may be, it converted into some other form. It is a physical or physico-chemical process. Okay, evaporation is a physico-chemical, precipitation also. Okay, this is known as chemical deposits. Okay, there will be some physics involved, there is some chemistry involved in this. So it is converted into some other form, that is a physical form is converted into some other form. There will be some harmful things. Okay, some nitric or then phosphorus things, and also is done. Some chemical process will be involved in this. So it may transfer from one place to another. That is known as a deposit. Okay, if you are depositing some amount of money from your pocket or your account to the bank account, some other SBI means, that's actually a deposit. So only known as a deposit. That's not a chemical deposit. Okay, some chemical will be going from here and depositing to some other places by some physico-chemical process or physical chemical. That is known as chemical deposit. Then comes the organic deposits. Some portion of the products of weathering gets deposited through the agency of organisms. It can be any organisms. Okay, it can be any organism. It can be an animal. It can be a bird. It can be some microorganisms. Okay, see some how corona is spreading. Some microorganisms are only they are doing this. So if through some organisms some deposits occurs, that is organic deposit. See some residual deposit. See, I will revise all of these. Residual deposit means some portion of products of weathering remain at the site of origin. Okay, sedimentary deposit means insoluble products of weathering are carried away in suspension, and when such products are deposited, then chemical deposit means some chemical reaction. Okay, physical chemical reaction such as evaporation, precipitation. So some deposit occurs. Organic deposit means through some organisms. Next, these are all the different sedimentary rocks: gravel, limestone, gypsum, lignite, sandstone. You should have to study all those examples. There may be some 2 marks or 6 mark questions. List the different types of sedimentary rocks means you would be able to answer this. You should be able to answer this. Next comes the metamorphic rocks. Okay, the metamorphism is a phenomenon. It is formed by change in character of the pre-existing rocks. That's what the metamorphism means. Metamorphism means some rocks' character may change. After some age, our character will also become changed. If we become mature, our character become changed. Okay, or some sort of situations we think that this is good. Okay, if you with respect to the situation you may adjust that hey, this character is good in this apt in this situation, like that you may change your character. Like that the rock may change its character. That is known as that is actually a metamorphism. That process known as the igneous as well as sedimentary rocks are changed in character when they are subjected to great heat and pressure. That's what. Some great heat and pressure comes, you may change. You may become, okay, if your father or mother tells steady, means you'll become angry, no, that types. If it is a rock means, if it is a igneous or sedimentary rocks, they'll change their character. They are telling that I don't want this character, I may change into some other character means, they may change their form. That is known as under great heat and pressure. That is known as metamorphism. Those rocks are known as metamorphic rocks. Already I covered. The 4 types of metamorphism are thermal metamorphism, cataclastic metamorphism, dynamothermal metamorphism, plutonic metamorphism. In that first one I'll discuss thermal bar contact metamorphism. The heat is predominant factor in this type of metamorphism. Due to the heavy heat, as the name suggests, thermal is the main parameter. Due to that, the rock changes its character. Okay. Next comes the cataclysmic metamorphism. See, this type of metamorphism occurs mainly due to direct pressure. Due to the here pressure is the main parameter in cataclysmic. Okay. When two bodies, rocks slide past each other. Okay. When two persons meet, assume like that. One another the other in a fault zone. Fault zone means there will be a zone which is more chance to get a crack or something. You study like this. Heat is generated by the friction of sliding along the zone, and the rocks tend to crush and pulverize due to the sliding. Okay, due to the extreme pressure, due to the pressure, heat may generated. There may chance to rocks tend to crush and pulverize due to the sliding. The cataclysmic metamorphism is mechanical breakdown of rocks without any new mineral formation. However, sometimes due to indent sharing, few new minerals are formed. Sometimes only new minerals are formed. Okay, this is known as cataclysmic metamorphism. Okay, actually this is a mechanical breakdown of rocks. Due to this, a few new minerals are formed. That is what very important point is. At the surface of the earth, temperature are low and metamorphism is brought about by direct pressure only. Due to that pressure, some amount of heat is generated. That is correct. That is heat is generated actually. Okay, but the main point you have to emphasize is the direct pressure. Okay, direct pressure. Next, dynamothermal metamorphism. There is rise in temperature with increase in depth. Okay, there will be a rise in temperature with increase in depth. Hence, the heat in combination with the strength brings about the changes of rocks. Okay, with respect to the depth, there will be, that's dynamic. Dynamic means the time varying. Okay, because here the varying parameter is the depth. When the depth increases, there will be a rise in temperature. So that what will happen? A metamorphism, a change. Okay, a change may take place. That's what here it is very beautifully explained. Hence, the heat in combination with the stress brings about the changes of rocks. There will be heat in combination with some internal stress. Stress is an internal phenomenon. Due to that stress, what will happen? Rock forced down are dynamothermally metamorphed by confining pressure and heat. Due to the confining pressure is known as a stress. Okay. Due to the confining pressure, okay, in between the some rock, what will happen? There will be a metamorphism. That is known as dynamothermal metamorphism. Next, Plutonic metamorphism. This is the last metamorphism, that is Plutonic metamorphism. The stress is effective only up to a certain depth. Okay, the stress means actually internal force. This is effective only up to a certain depth. After that, what will happen? The rocks becomes plastic. They may convert the elastic. Actually, the stress is an internal force, whereas pressure, stress means it may be tension, it may be a compression. Okay, it will be in one direction. You would have studied it. Tensile force and compression force. Actually, that's a stress. That's an internal force. But pressure is an outward force. Okay, here what happens in Plutonic metamorphism is, at a greater depth, the stage is reached when stress cannot exist as it converts into uniform pressure. That's what I explained. See, you explain about a stone is here. You will be having a outward pressure. This is the uniform pressure in all directions. This what happens? A pressure. Okay. Because of the plasticity of the rocks become so rigid. Okay, its elastic nature is lost. It becomes so stubborn. Okay, it becomes more rigid. Okay, so what will happen? The metamorphic changes at the grade. Due to this, a metamorphic changes that happens. Okay, therefore brought about by uniform pressure. And due to the pressure, some amount of heat is generated. This is known as Plutonic metamorphism. See, you stated just this point. A uniform pressure. Okay, due to plasticity of rocks. Okay, the stress will not exist. Stress means only in one direction. It may be either tensile or compressive. Here what? A uniform pressure. Okay, pressure outward occurs. Stress is an internal phenomenon, whereas pressure is an outward phenomenon. Okay, that is why pressure is an area dependent parameter. Since both the units and all those things are same, but conceptually they are different. Okay, this is what Plutonic metamorphism. Finally, the examples of metamorphic rocks include andesite, quartzite, marble, slate, granulite, gneiss and schist. This you have to memorize it. This may be asked in 2 marks questions. Okay. Next, physical classification. We have gone through different classifications. Next is physical classification. Under physical classification, this is based on general structure of rocks. How the structure of rocks depends on that. We have categorized into 3 types: the stratified rocks, unstratified rocks and foliated rocks. In that stratified rocks, what is it? See, look at this figure. It is having like a contour. You would have studied the contours in the 2nd semester survey. Okay, contours are the points connecting the points of equal elevation. See, it is like a contour. Okay, some sort of contours. These rocks pose plane of stratification or cleavage, and such rocks can be easily split up along this plane. If you are cutting in this plane, okay, if you are cutting in this plane, if you are taking a knife and cutting in this plane, you can obtain, you will get the cleavage very easily. That is the point you are getting. Since it is placed one plate over the another, one lower plate over that one plate, so many plates, one above the another it is placed like this, 1, 2, 3 parallelly. But my drawings are not good, but whatever. So this is called stratified rocks. There will be some stratum, 1 stratum, 2 stratum, 2nd stratum, 3rd stratum. So many stratums combined together, stratified rocks. They will be having a plane of cleavage, a proper plane of cleavage will be there. Okay, and it can be split up easily. That's the 2 points you have to point out. The sedimentary rocks are distinctively stratified rocks. Most probably, the sedimentary rocks are distinctively stratified. Okay, that is the 1 point that also you have to keep in your mind. Next is unstratified rocks. As the name suggests, they are irregular. Like there won't be any cleavage, proper cleavage you cannot obtain in proper. They are not stratified. Igneous rocks or of volcanic agency and sedimentary rocks affected by movement of earth. Due to the earth movement, some sort of sedimentary rocks are formed. All these things you can be categorized under this unstratified rocks. Next comes foliated rocks. The last one is foliated. These rocks have a tendency to be split in a definite direction only. Okay, this structure is common in metamorphic rocks. In some specified direction, they can be cut into two. That is a very point. Okay, sir. If we see, you may say there will be some person. Okay, I may tell him that don't go in that path. Means he may instead go towards that path only. Okay, that there will be some persons like that. There will be some definite direction. That is one example. Okay, for whatever it may be, if you want to solve one problem, means you will be having a specific path you have to follow. If you are following that path, means you will be getting a good solution. For that, it can be split up in a definite direction only. It may be some xx direction, xy direction, or some direction. Okay, in that direction only it can be split up. That is the point. Okay, that is the rocks itself have that tendency only. Okay, there will be the most probably I may think like it is the weakest plane will be in that direction. That is the point. The weakest plane will be in that direction. That is foliated rocks. Maybe giving some examples: shale, slate, foliate, schist, gneiss, and all those that can be categorized under foliated rocks. Next is chemical classification. Under chemical classification, the classification is also known as engineering classification or scientific classification. The rocks can be categorized as 3 types: siliceous rocks, argillaceous rocks, calcareous rocks, etc. Next is chemical classification. This is also known as engineering classification or scientific classification. The rocks can be categorized as 3 types. Under chemical classification, they are categorized 3 types: siliceous, argillaceous and calcareous. We may discuss in detail in next slide. In siliceous rocks, the silica is the, as the name suggests, sili means silica. Okay, as the name says, silica is the major factor, or it is the major component. What about the hardness and durability? Durability means how it may last. If you are buying a bulb, means what is the maximum lasting period? Maybe 6 months. If you are buying a bulb, means 90 watts or 60 watts, 9 months it may last. Okay, maximum 6 months. Okay, there will be some material. If you are buying a car, means a Swift car. If you are buying, I am having a Swift car, so only I am telling about the Swift car. If you are buying a Swift car, means you can use it without, I am telling, without any major service or major repair. You can use it for 10 years. Okay, maybe 10 years. That is the durability of that car. Whatever it may be, if you are considering a building, if you are considering your home, it can be durable for 30 years. That's a durability. Okay, if you are taking anything, there will be some period, fixed period. Okay, they are hard and durable. That is the rocks. They are hard and durable. It may last for so many years, or so many hours, or so many months, whatever. They are not easily affected by weathering agencies. I have told you weathering is an attack. Weathering means some portion may be transported to some other places. That is known as weathering. There will be some agencies. That is transporting agencies. It may be wind or snow, whatever. We have already discussed about all this. They are not easily affected. That's the point. They are not easily affected. The silica, however, in combination with weaker minerals, may disintegrate easily. The silica, however, in combination with weaker minerals. Okay. If a diploma student, he may come from home after completing his +2 as a very good student. After joining Condor Government Polytechnic, he may become a bad person. You know how? He may be in companion. His companion will be someone who is having a bad character. Actually, he was a good character when at the time of joining. After 1 year, we may say, if we look into his character, means his character became changed. Why it is so? His companion, like that. If it is a silica, means if he is having a companion or a combination with the weaker mineral, means he may disintegrate easily. That is the point that you have to remind. It is therefore necessary that this rock should contain maximum amount of free silica for making them hard and durable. Free silica is having a good character. He is a very good person. Okay, he won't make any friends with anybody. Okay, that is the point. Okay, if there is necessary that this rock should contain maximum amount of free silica, making them hard. What happens if it contains maximum amount of free silica, means they will become more hard. They'll become more. It will last for a long time. Example for this sort of siliceous rocks are granite and quartzite. Okay, granite and quartzite. And next is argillaceous rocks. Argillaceous rocks are argil containing or clay containing materials. Clay is having more clays will be there in these argillaceous rocks. They are dense and compact. That means the grains will be arranged very closely. The void will be very less. They are hard, durable, but brittle. Brittle means if you are striking above it, means spotly, it will get fractured. Okay, it does not have any elastic character. It is having a strong brittle character. Okay, what is a ductile material? Plastic is a very ductile material. You can stretch for some time. Whereas brittle means what? If you release from a height, means a strong thing, means it will break into 2 pieces. That is brittleness. Okay, spotly it won't. If some deformation occurs, means it is a ductile material. If no deformation, suddenly it broken, means it is brittle. Like that only is argillaceous rocks. slates, laterites. When we are studying in first standard, we may be using that slates. Okay, you must have used it, slate. Okay, if you are putting that slate down, means what will happen? It will be broken into two pieces. You would have to buy a new slate. Even when in my childhood memories, I like to, I was doing such sort of activities. Maybe dropping from a height, maybe my carelessness, but that sort of slate, that only is the slate's character. Okay, it is having an argillaceous rock. Okay, in first standard you will be using that slate. That is also an argillaceous rock. On above that only you would be writing this and all those things. Okay, you would have started your studying in that slates only. So remained, it's an argillaceous rock. Don't forget. Next is calcareous rocks. What's a calcareous? Calcareous means, see, it's a calcium containing. Cal means calcium. Simply calcium carbonate predominates. Predominance means it is more of calcium carbonates. It dominates. Simply you study that dominates. The durability depends on the constants present in surrounding atmosphere. Some sort of reactions may occur. Okay, that's what limestone, marbles. You may be thinking like for Taj Mahal will be built by marbles only. There may be some chemical reaction occurs in marbles. There may be some discoloration of that marble may take. There will be news in newspapers. That is due to since it's a calcium carbonate containing materials, maybe it will react with the atmospheric oxygen and it may convert into some other forms. Maybe like that may happen. Not oxygen, I'm telling some sort of gases. That's what it durably depends upon the constant present in surrounding atmosphere. Okay.